Speaker. Okay. Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, I rise in this honorable chamber to lead the debate on the resolution to transfer parcels of land to the Ministry of Housing for the purpose of providing new dwellings for persons of moderate means. Deputy Speaker, it is through God that all things flow, so I give him all the honor and glory. I remain grateful to the Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, my other cabinet and parliamentary colleagues for their continued support. Deputy Speaker, I am blessed to have the fortune of working with some of the best and most dedicated public officers at the Ministry of Transport and Housing. As always, I continue to remain thankful for the invaluable support of my Permanent Secretary, Ms. Antoinette Thompson, my Undersecretary, Ms. Gaynell Roll, and other department heads and board members. I also wish to take this time to thank the Office of the Attorney General and the Lands and Survey for the grateful assistance in finalizing this resolution and the accompanying plans. My family and the good people of Elizabeth constituency continue to support me. Every day I am reminded of my purpose for being in this place, which is to be an agent of change and to make a difference. Deputy Speaker, at the inauguration of the 46th and current President of the United States, Joseph Biden, the world witnessed a masterful and soaring delivery by Amanda Gorman of the poem, The Hill We Climb. Throughout her poem, Deputy Speaker, Gorman sought to heal and unite America after a bitter and divisive presidential election. However, the depth and power of her words reverberated far beyond the borders of the United States of America. While her poem, Deputy Speaker, written in sweet, majestic language, spoke vividly to America's past and future, The Hill We Climb has universal appeal. Important global themes such as democracy, human rights, and social justice were delicately woven out of her poem, ending with a moving climax, the words which I now share, and I quote, "When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there's always light, if only we're brave enough to see it. If only we're brave enough to be it." End quote. Deputy Speaker, for many Bahamians seeking to become homeowners, a new dawn is blooming. For many Bahamians seeking to own a piece of the land, the light is here. Deputy Speaker, in the Blueprint for Change, our party's contract with the Bahamian people, the Progressive Liberal Party committed to a new day in empowering Bahamians through home ownership. Our specific housing goals were outlined in two main policy initiatives, Homes for Bahamians and Home Sweet Home program. Deputy Speaker, under the Home for Bahamians, we committed to the following solutions: approaching housing as a basic right and increasing access to affordable homes by creating new initiatives, including a rent-to-own program. A return to building houses for Bahamians by incentivizing local contractors, the granting of Crown land, especially in the Family Islands, and the pursuit of public-private partnerships to develop new subdivisions. Deputy Speaker, under Home Sweet Home, we committed to two main plans: to encourage and incentivize Bahamians, including those living abroad, to build homes throughout the Family Islands as an investment opportunity for second homes, rental units, and Airbnbs, and to develop a program via the Small Business Development Center to fund Airbnbs. Deputy Speaker, a new day is blooming. Our party, the Progressive Liberal Party, is anchored in the political philosophy of progressivism. At the heart of progressivism is social reform, the idea that the political system must be closer to the community's ideals and dedicated to uplifting the people. We, Deputy Speaker, believe that public policy must lead to advancements in economic development, which is vital to the improvement of the human condition. We, Deputy Speaker, believe that the heart of governance is about people and helping them achieve a quality life. Like our former Governor General and former Deputy Prime Minister, the late Arthur Dion Hanna, once eloquently said, "We must wipe every tear from every eye." The words of Mr. Hanna, Deputy Speaker, although spoken many years ago, remain relevant to this day and continue to form the basis of our mission, underpinning the promise of our legacy. Deputy Speaker, we believe that access to affordable housing is a basic human right, as expressed in key international agreements such as the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the Millennium Declaration, and the Millennium Development Goals. The Bahamas is a party to each of these agreements. We measure access to affordable housing, Deputy Speaker, by the number of new homes and subdivisions being built by government. In fact, I will also wager to say that a government's approach to housing is also a good measure of where its priorities really lie. The expansion of housing for a population is done in anticipation of growth, not just in terms of population size, but also in terms of economic growth. To become a homeowner is often symbolic of one's accession into the middle class. It is one of the first major investments that a person makes in their life, and often the single most important step toward wealth accumulation and equity that the average person takes in their life. Deputy Speaker, a new dawn is blooming. Home ownership must still be a part of the Bahamian dream, Deputy Speaker. It is the promise of prosperity delivered by the best little country in the world. And while we may have hit a rough patch here and there in recent years, there is still so much vast potential for growth within our borders. That is why investors continue to show up on our shores each and every day. As a government, we must continue to invest in the upward social mobility of our people. A strong and robust affordable homes program is an essential component in providing such housing solutions. That's why it is a shame, Deputy Speaker, when a government can go nearly 5 years without building a single home. It is suggestive of the fact that expanded access to home ownership and, by extension, all the social mobility and the wealth that comes with home ownership is not and was not a priority for them. When a government fails to invest in affordable housing, it is saying to the Bahamian people, we will not help you to attain your Bahamian dream. Deputy Speaker, when this administration came into office, we wanted to speak very loudly through our policies, our resources, and our actions to the Bahamian people who dream of one day becoming homeowners and are having a difficult time making that dream a reality. We believe in you, and we will facilitate bringing your dreams into fruition. We cannot allow the lack of activity that occurred over the past 4.5 years to define our approach to housing policies. Right. Deputy, a regional review of housing statistics reveals a shocking observation. Over the last few years, the Bahamas has been outperformed by many of our counterparts. While new homes have been built and new subdivisions opened in the last 4 years in Jamaica, Barbados, and Trinidad and Tobago, the record reflects that we, the Bahamas, have lost tremendous ground. Deputy Speaker, to provide greater context, I'm advised that the government of Jamaica intends to construct over 70,000 affordable home solutions over the next 5 years. And I wanted to just mention that while I was in Jamaica attending the CARIFTA, I had the opportunity, thankfully, by our contact through Foreign Affairs, Ms. Alvida, to go and visit some of the housing projects that's presently underway in Jamaica, and I was completely blown away by the plans, the quality, the timelines. There's a company in Jamaica that's presently giving to the government 500 homes every 6 months. 500 homes every 6 months. They are completing the homes so fast now that the government is not able to fill them as fast as the homes being completed. So don't tell me it's not possible for that to be done here in the Bahamas.
That's right.
It is possible to be done when you have the right government in place. In Barbados, the government recently opened, just this past Sunday, its newest solar-powered housing subdivision in St. James. And the government of Trinidad is slated to hand over keys for over 100 affordable homes before the end of the year. Bahamians, it is possible when you have a progressive government at hand.
That's right.
Deputy Speaker, this Davis-led administrations believe wholeheartedly that national development and access to affordable housing go hand in hand. We view home ownership as a form of human empowerment. By pursuing housing projects, Deputy Speaker, we believe that we are anchoring Bahamians as productive citizens and providing opportunities for economic expansion. Deputy Speaker, in 2004, a survey by the Bahamas Department of Statistics on the distribution of annual household income by income groups found that the majority, some 30.5% of Bahamian households fell within the annual income range of $20,000 to $40,000. Subsequent reporting by the Central Bank of the Bahamas, Deputy Speaker, has shown that this income group to be the most difficult to obtain mortgages. To be clear, there are several factors that contribute to mortgage denials for individuals or households in the aforesaid income range. However, it is also important to note that within that income range are nurses, there are teachers, there are police officers, there are defense force officers, there are hospitality workers, and self-employed Bahamians. Deputy Speaker, these people are the lifeblood of our economy and the foundation of our communities. We cannot, in good conscience, continue to advance housing policies that deny some of the hardest working, most essential people in this country the opportunity to own a home. We are talking about people with degrees and or specialized training, people who work in the most important industries and agencies and even put themselves at risk every day. And we saw it during the pandemic. Where we finally realized who in this country were essential workers, some that we didn't even think of at first. So, Deputy Speaker, we cannot allow the prevailing message for the everyday Bahamian to be that you can follow the rules and do everything right, but still not enjoy access to home ownership. That is not the Bahamas that the Davis administration is fighting for. We are here in the light of this new day to bring much needed changes to the local housing reality. And the Bahamian people can see for themselves what that reality looks like. There's no pipe dream or pre-election housing schemes here, Deputy Speaker. We are delivering early and at a large scale to meet the housing needs of our population. And I want to be very clear. This Minister of Transport and Housing fully understands her role, and I am committed to being as progressive as I can with housing policies. Deputy Speaker, a new dawn is blooming. Creating a new dawn in housing, Deputy Speaker, requires a bold, strategic vision, a vision that is honest and transparent, a vision that is free from partisan politics. At the Ministry of Transport and Housing, our vision to expand the home ownership is driven by 5 strategic priorities. The priorities include following the following: public-private partnerships. Through innovative PPP agreements with reputable developers, the ministry can reduce red tape and manage costs by allowing developers to start construction and be compensated at project completion with mortgages from future homeowners. A reformed Department of Housing. By expanding the team and realigning the structure at the Department of Housing, we've been able to optimize and improve services. Critical to our focus has been the development of a specific website to manage the application process. Additionally, the customer service team at the Department of Housing has been charged with focusing on relationship building and management of the end-to-end application process. Currently, the Department of Housing is engaged in an exciting public communications program to bring awareness to the mortgage process and share helpful tips. Robust engagement with financial institutions. A keen focus of my leadership team at the Ministry of Transport and Housing is to increase engagement with mortgage providers with a view to building partnerships and a mutual understanding. The objective of the government in providing affordable housing are not misaligned with the real estate market or the objective of commercial banks. And I just wanted to note here that we are in high-level conversations with the banks so that we can provide a program of consolidating persons with unsecured loans who are not able to qualify for mortgage. If we put them through a consolidation program, we're able to capture their loans into one umbrella and get them to a point where they can qualify for mortgages. And so I look forward to be able to provide further details of how that program is going to work. Quality research, data analysis, and innovative solution designs. By focusing on research and data analysis, my team at the Ministry of Housing are better able to understand the impediments to home ownership. For example, according to the central bank, 2 key reasons mortgage deferrals are the lack of down payment and high unsecured borrowing. So we are looking to leverage a special savings bond that the Central Bank of the Bahamas is expected to launch before the end of this year as a tool to encourage savings for mortgage down payments. Meaningful international partnerships. Through partnership with housing departments in other countries, our Department of Housing can benefit from the best practices and information exchange. For example, New Zealand has a strong and effective affordable housing program that can serve as a model for our country. We need not reinvent the wheel here. It would be a shame not to learn from all the progressive ideas around the globe by countries who have faced similar issues that we are now facing. These approaches, once fine-tuned for our context, can serve as feasible solutions for our housing needs. And we will be actively exploring and learning from housing solutions throughout the globe. I'll elaborate a little bit more about the reforms later in my presentation. Deputy Speaker, we at the Ministry of Transport and Housing are aware that we must be transformative in our approach to housing. We understand that our housing policies must aid our national development. We are also acutely aware that our plans must be inclusive and seek, where possible, practical to cover the entire Bahamas. Deputy Speaker, a new dawn is blooming. At the heart of our housing plan is a reinvigorated Department of Housing. I wish now to speak a bit more to their roles. As you are aware, the Department of Housing is the agency through which the Ministry of Housing constructs homes to be purchased by low to middle income persons. On coming to office a little more than 7 months ago, my team and I realized that enhancement to the department was necessary to ensure effective operation of the agency. As stated earlier, these changes include a review of processes and procedures to ensure maximum optimization. Deputy Speaker, a key function of the Department of Housing is to ensure that quality homes are being built. The department is aware of the inaccurate information in the public domain, and while we are open to criticism and feedback, let me state that public comments by some are exaggerated, as mentioned yesterday in my presentation, and they're misleading and likely motivated by the need to sow seeds of political mischief and undermine public trust in the project. Deputy Speaker, the homes at Pinecrest features that are built, some of with the highest standard, even surpassing the recommended standard. We went above and beyond to ensure that these homes were safe, even through the most adverse weather. Looking at the structures, you will note that there are architectural shingles, highly elevated foundation, and the use of hurricane impact windows. And I want to state that this is the first housing project by a government with hurricane impact windows.
Go ahead.
And this is not one of those pre-election housing ploys being rushed along at the end of a term. Deputy Speaker, there are no cutting corners here. We are delivering this housing project early, so we had plenty of time to build these structures according to the highest standard. And looking at the structures, you will note that they are made from concrete blocks and reinforced with poured concrete and steel columns with beams inside the blocks. So just to be a little bit more clearer in layman terms, you know, I'm learning from my technical team at housing as I go along, and they teach me what some of these processes and structures are in terms of the new way and the new design and building. And so we're used to having the belt course framed up by the wood, right? And then poured by the cement. That's the usual way. That's the traditional way that people are used to. And so I understand someone drove past and they were quite confused. They worked at Works years ago, and they were wondering why there were no belt course being poured, or they didn't see the framings. Well, let me just make it clear. The technology we are using at Pinecrest is also being used in Old Fort Bay, also being used in Lightfoot Key, being used all over the entire Bahamas by renowned contractors. It is stronger than framing up and pouring concrete. We are pouring concrete in blocks that is aligned with steel vertically and horizontally. Okay, so that's tied in to the home stronger. And the PSI requirement of the Ministry of Works is 2,500. Our PSI at Pinecrest is 3,000. And that's approved by the Ministry of Works, okay? We don't need people to be inspecting our homes who ain't qualified to inspect, okay? We have our Ministry of Works inspectors, Department of Housing have inspectors. You'll recall when I came in here, I spoke about using the technical staff that already exists and not trying to reinvent the wheel. Well, we didn't reinvent the wheel. We're using the people that presently work in the ministry, that presently work in Works, and go to other housing projects and other building projects and do the same type of inspection. So we got it. We need no help. We good. All right? So the Ministry of Housing, the Ministry of Works, along with a team of construction professionals, 2 licensed engineers, are supervising our construction. And it gives me great satisfaction to advise this Honorable House that the first set of homes in Pinecrest will be available in May of 2022. Not 23, 2022, and the pictures on our billboard are not from Google. They're renderings from our architects, okay? That's the real deal. That's how the houses will look when they are completed. So this is no pie in the sky promise here. The process was done the right way from start to finish, and we were able to deliver in record time. And this is a remarkable accomplishment for the Department of Housing. And I once again thank my excellent team that's been involved at the Ministry of Transport and Housing. I'm grateful to the stakeholders. I'm excited about what's to come, because this government is going to be successful in empowering Bahamians through home ownership. The Department of Housing will drive and lead that charge. And so we are keeping abreast of new developments in housing and inform trends in the mortgage lending space, and ensure the Department of Housing cannot operate as it did 10 years ago. Much has changed, so we must continue to evolve, and that is what you see us doing here. Let me just try to get this down to some other part I done deal with what I had to deal with. That's right, real revolution. So, Deputy Speaker, if only we're brave enough to see it. What we are envisioning is for the Bahamas, a new approach to affordable housing. At the Department of Housing, we understand that our approach must be flexible. Therefore, the Ministry of Transport and Housing is considering a rent-to-own option that can assist in expanding the path to home ownership. In the coming weeks, my ministry will announce the formation of a rent-to-own committee to assist the Department of Housing in developing a sound and financially viable framework. We are very excited about the possibilities of such an initiative for populations who traditionally have difficulties securing a mortgage. While this may not be a fix-all for everyone, it will go a long way towards helping many Bahamian families to realize their dream of home ownership. Deputy Speaker, the Department of Housing has held housing fairs in New Providence, Abaco, and Grand Bahama. Additionally, housing fairs are planned for Exuma, Eleuthera, and Andros. And let me just say that these housing fairs ain't no ploy to say we traveling the islands. Because I hear the F&M chairman, I don't know what his fixation is on me. You know, I think every time I involve in something, there's an announcement that comes out from this chairman who complaining about us traveling. Let me just state, right? First of all, this is a new type of leadership you have here under the Davis administration, okay? We used to things. We come from the private sector where we've worked and traveled all over the world. So we don't have to come in government to travel. Let me just state that. We don't have to come here to travel. But what we know is you live in a bubble, you will never be able to advance your country and advance the economy. That's right. You have to go out there and see what the global trends are, what the international community is doing, and connect their standards and their qualities to what will work in the context of your culture in the Bahamas. So staying stationary, then maybe that's why they failed the Bahamian people. Because they were stationary, right? But we are traveling so that we can advance our country. And when we go to the Family Islands, we sit, my team meets with persons across the Family Island, and we sit and see the brackets of what they're qualifying for. Okay, because us understanding the brackets of the level they can qualify for, it helps us to design and price our homes to those brackets so that we can better facilitate them becoming homeowners. So there's a plan, and we're working towards that, okay? Additionally, the housing fairs are designed to gauge the public interest in public housing and allow for planning by the Department of Housing. Collectively, we've had over 2,000 applicants received through the Department of Housing by these fairs. And it is important for us to ensure that our approach to housing is not Nassau-centric and anticipates the needs of the islands throughout the Bahamas, with a special focus on those islands who have not yet recovered from past hurricanes. These fairs help us to develop our national housing strategies. Over the course of the next 5 years, hundreds of Bahamian families will know what it means to move into a home of their own, thanks to the hard-working team of the Ministry of Transport and Housing, who are fully committed to making it happen. We are at the cusp of a great rebound for this country. Deputy Speaker, the economy is recovering and projected to grow for consecutive years. The labor market is returning to pre-pandemic levels. Hotels are filling up, and things are improving for the first time in a long time for Bahamian families. In other words, there is light, Deputy Speaker. We are brave enough to see it, and we are brave enough to be it, and we will ensure that the light of this new day covers every corner of the Bahamas. After all, that is what was all about from the very start for us. We came in promising competent, compassionate leadership for all, and that is the value that drives us each and every day. As we move forward with this resolution to designate these parcels of land for affordable housing, know that this initiative is a manifestation of our values as an administration that is truly for the people. Deputy Speaker, when day comes, we step out of the shade aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it, for there's always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it. Thank you, Deputy Speaker. And I also wish to table along with my contribution the printed plans of both areas of which we are transferring over to the Ministry of Transport and Housing.
Order that the documents be brought up.